Hey crafters, it's Janet with Crafting It Up in Creations, coming at you today with day 5 in my series of DIY Christmas ornaments. Now these little lanterns come from the Dollar Tree, already cute as can be. But when I saw them, I felt like they were going to be easy to alter. And at first I didn't even know that I could make them into, per se, a shaker ornament. But I knew that I could add something else to them, even on the outside, just to make them extra special. Now, in the course of doing videos for my series, I ran across another crafter that has also altered these lanterns. Her name is SS Crafter 1, and her video is Altered Dollar Tree Lanterns. I'm going to link her video down below, as well as her channel. I beg you to check her out, leave her some love, tell her I sent you over there. She did a wonderful job with her lanterns, and I just love every one of them. And this is what I had ended up doing with mine. Okay, so these are the lanterns from the Dollar Tree. They're in the Christmas section, of course. They're called ornament decorations, and they've got that little wire top. They actually spin in place, or spin around while the rest of it is, in place. There's a little knob there on the front, although they make that look like the back. There's some little greenery at the top, and it comes off very easily most of the time. Now, when I do record myself trying to take it off, I struggled, but they are just super cute, and I knew from the moment I saw them that I could alter them. And I've had this footage for a while because I've been doing my 12 Days of Christmas special, and I was going to alter some Dollar Tree ornaments. I've also got some other things that I'm going to alter as well, so stay tuned for that. But I added some buttons. I've added some of these little mini trees in the back. The actual deer that's inside is a button. I've got some fake snow in there, and it's kind of like a little snow globe, and that's what I truly love about this. And of course I put some snowflake buttons around the edge, some homespun, and some little white berries. So I have all kinds of homespun that I've cut up into pieces that I used for some of the cookie cutter ornaments. I'll link all those videos down below. This will be day 5, of course. But there is a huge selection of dress it up holiday buttons at Joann's, Michael's, AC Moore, Hobby Lobby. Everybody has tons and tons of these cute buttons. Now, I love this pack. There's the cute little fox in there, the deer, the owl, and that bird. Oh my gosh. The only thing I haven't used yet is that cute little squirrel. Now these are crystal snowflakes. I used them a lot in one of the other projects, but I still had another thing of them, and I'm going to use a few. These are tiny treasure trees. Say that a whole 10 times fast. These came from Michael's, and they're marked $2.99, but they had all their stuff this week marked off 60%. So I got these originally 40% off, but man, if you get in there now, you can really get a good deal. These are the same as the crystal snowflakes, but they're white. And look at this. Believe in fairies. So it's 2 little doors, there's 2 little mushrooms, and a cute little fairies welcome sign. Now, I wasn't sure that these were going to actually fit into the lanterns, but it did. These are mini tree trimmings. These come from AC Moore, and it looks like a little wreath. I'm going to show another one here in a little bit. And these are stickers, but they're made of the same material the buttons are. They're by Recollections. So are these snowflakes. And of course, like all the Recollection stuff, a lot of times will come up 50% off. And I looked on these to see how much they were, but I could not find a price on them. I don't know what was up with Michael's when they put some of these out. There was the gingerbread man. Here are some different little ones that look like wreaths. Coffee cups. Now, I can't wait to get more of these lanterns in because I want to do some more. And I really want to use those coffee cups. You can use these tiny presents for all kinds of different things. I have a few different ones. These are kind of rectangular shaped. And that's a look at it on the outside. You could stand it up even, you know, and then it would kind of show up in there. Here's a nativity scene. So it's Mary and Joseph, and it was really pretty. I'm trying to kind of go through these quick. This video is super long, but all these are buttons except for these stickers. And the only thing is I took some wire cutters to cut the back off if there was a button back. And if it was a sticker, I actually did go ahead and pull that adhesive off, just so that it was flat. And this is one of those buttons with the angel, and I think these buttons were just beautiful. So she's got that hint of gold in her, and so I gave it, you know, a gold bow and a little gold tie at the top. I put one of those crystal snowflakes on, and because she was an angel, I just went ahead and used the Believe. Now these are wood tags from Target Dollar Spot, and I've got another one on this one as well. You got 6 for $1. And I love them. If I go back to Target and they have more of those, I would get them in a heartbeat, but I haven't been able to find them. This is where I use the owl inside of one. And I've got some greenery around it. But, you know, the sky is the limit on decorating these and what you want to do to it. I look at it, and if I feel like it needs a little something else, then I put it aside until I run across what I have in my craft selection that I think will look good on it. But I have it right where I can see it. So this is one of my favorite ones. I even put flocking glitter all the way around it. And I think that really adds to the charm of this one. But I didn't do that on any of the others. I may still go back and do it. This is a pick from Michael's that was $2.99. It's kind of like a rose gold or a champagne color. I can't make up my mind. To me, in this, it looks champagne. And this is some fake snow. Right now, these are 60 to 70% off. And you can get that at Walmart as well in a much bigger container for like $2.50. Some Recollections glitter. I've got snow, and then that really beautiful tinsel glitter as well. You could use buffalo snow that you can get at Walmart, fairly cheap, or you can even use the little styrofoam balls that the Dollar Tree has, and they have tons of those right now. Now these are some seashells. Now how cute is that? Some kitty cats. I love the eyes on these. They're so cute. And then some flowers. And I do end up using these on the one with the fairy. Some kitty cats that have some flocking on them. And they are too cute, I just have to say. Some snowmen. And I did end up using one of these. Now look at him. And look at his cute little scarf, kind of blowing in the wind. These were some angel ones. And there she is inside of one of the lanterns. And I used a little small tree button that I've had forever and covered up that hole. And then there is a button on top as well. So here are the wood tags. And there's 6 of them in there. And look, $1. Can't beat that deal. And then that's what I was talking about. That little tiny button right there is like a musical note or an ampersand. But I even put one on the back of her just to kind of take up some of that white space. And the little trees in there. I've got this cute little fox with a rusty bell. And these are wood tags. You got 3 for $1 also at the Target Dollar Spot this year. And I just think it looks really rustic. I put a couple little tiny jingle bells in there. And this fox is so cute. My middle daughter loves foxes, and my oldest daughter loves penguins. And I tend to try to get stuff that I can make that has those things in them. This is that very elegant white deer, and he's got gold antlers. I got those at AC Moore this year. I've already used those before now. Some greenery, a little tinsel glitter for some garland. The only thing is that you do have to watch when you glue them in there that, of course, their antlers aren't going to hit the side of that, or if you try to make it too tall with the trees. And there are a few trees that I used that did go up kind of high. One of them I ended up cutting off a little. Another, I just ended up pulling it off because I did use hot glue. And I just pulled it off and then reattached it. And here's another one that I did with one of the little snowmen in it. And I threw all kinds of different snow in there. There's a couple different trees. I'd used a gray tree and a green tree. And I used some little white snowflakes that was out of that Recollections pack. Added some jingle bells with some tinsel there. And actually that's a pipe cleaner that I used on that one. And a cute little Let It Snow sign. I thought that just took the cake. Now this is the same. These were actually buttons on this one. They didn't have any kind of adhesive on the back of them. They were flat. But they were silver and blue and white in a package. I think you got 6. So honestly, the Recollections is a much better deal where you get more. This glitter tree actually came with these particular snowmen. And there were 2 trees, so I decided to glue them together. So that if, you move this thing around, you're not going to see the back of it. Some of the things I finished on the back, some of them I didn't. Put some homespun around that. And some of these just come out so cute. And then here's the little green one. Or he's wearing a green hat and scarf. And there's little tiny buttons for this one. Some homespun. I think these snowflakes actually came with that little fella. And as you can see, some of my snow's leaking out, I believe. There's just enough room for that to crack a little. So you do have to watch. You may even want to end up gluing some of these. A few of them I did use some glossy accents to hold that down. And of course penguins here because my daughter loves penguins. And then a cute little button that looks like a little stocking on there. And I actually did put glitter on this. This is that Heidi Swap glitter. I've used it in a couple past videos as well. It doesn't have a color on it, but it's like a silver and clear mixed in together. And it's so pretty. Now I'm going to show you exactly how I go ahead and decorate one of these. I'm going to kind of pull everything apart. And honestly, the first thing I should have done was go ahead and take these wire things out. But I struggled to pull that greenery off first before I realized maybe I should just, first things first. But what's really funny is these 2 ornaments came apart very easily. When I was trying to pull the greenery off, I started pulling them apart at the top, as you can see. There's little pins that actually go into each other and they kind of snap in and hold this thing together. If you catch this glue for the greenery at just the right spot, it comes off really easy. I struggled with these, and I think because I was so worried, these were the last 2 that I had to decorate, and I wanted to show you on camera how to do it, that I was worried that I was going to injure them. And I'm still waiting to get more. So that pulls apart. See, there's 2 little pins right there at the top. The bottom, you just kind of grab on both sides and pull it apart. And you kind of have to work it out just a little, because that middle pin right underneath where that seats is kind of the one that really holds together maybe the best. So everything just fell out of my hands, as you can tell. But here's the bottom piece. It has that little plastic piece in it. And then this little piece goes on the outside. And you actually put it in, sandwich it in between. But there's a pin there, there, and there that will hold these together. Some of these even had glue on them, which is really weird because I probably had about 10 or 12 of these, and I bet only 4 of them actually had some type of glue on it. And it seemed like it was sort of like hot glue, but it came apart rather easily even though it was there. So on this one, I end up going ahead and taking that wire off. It comes off really easy. And I really like this wire because it kind of looks like a rusty wire per se. And I don't really have anything that looks like that. Like all the wires I have that I use for my jewelry stuff are all pretty shiny. So I think that's too much of a contrast on these. And this one pulled apart really easy too. Now the other gal that I'm linked down below, she uses like the little spatula tool that you can use for like a silhouette or a Cricut machine, and kind of gets it in between there, and it may even make it much easier, but these came apart even easier than some of the other ones that I had. But I basically, if I stuck my hands on both sides like that and pulled at the bottom, they came apart. I didn't have any of the pins on these break, which I think is miraculous because it's not like they look like they're made that high quality or anything. So I was really surprised that at some point or another, if you knew me, that I didn't break one. Now this, I had a really hard time getting this glue off. Like I say, I never struggled with any of them as much as I did these last two. But I even used my wire cutters just to kind of cut at the glue, trying to make sure that I didn't actually hit the ornament itself. And I end up pulling all that off of there. That little piece in the middle you could actually cut off. Please definitely watch the other video because she does show how she does that. I end up using it because I end up anchoring things on it. I think I only ended up cutting one of those off, and it didn't really seem like it made a difference in how I really did it for what I added this time. It may in the future if I get more of these, if I can get some more of these, maybe I can figure out a way to get those out of there and maybe make something a little bit bigger that would go in the center. And this little tree, I had to trim it, literally trimmed the tree. And I think I'm going to go there, and I'm like, no, wait a minute, let me go closer to the piece of wood. So I flip it around and I go this way, just so I have more of an anchor there that I can put the hot glue against. And I even push up the bristles. Some of those little bristles were already pushed up in that area, and I thought, well, that'll be perfect. And I'm trying to show you exactly how I do this. I glue this in right here, and you'll never guess that this is what I can tell you from the get-go. This tree ended up being a little bit too tall, so I had to trim it at the top. Once you glue those trees, they're a little bit harder to get off of something than, like, say, the buttons, because you can kind of work those loose as long as you're using that hot glue. But the trees are a little bit trickier, and I didn't want to mess up the tree. This little snowman, he has to go in a certain position because since he's holding that cute little cardinal, his arms will actually extend too far over, and it'll mess up having that top come down just right. But as you can see, the tree does stick up a little higher, and I didn't think that it was too high, but then when I tried to put it all together, it was. So I'm going to take this Stampin' Up! Glossy Accents. It's the one that I have that I hadn't opened yet a few days ago, and I can't find any of the other. I have one with a special tip that is really good for detailed stuff. Well, it's stuck in the tip. So I throw some Glossy Accents down in the bottom, and I kind of roll it around so it covers the entire bottom. And I'm going to throw that plastic looking snow down on there. And I'm going to throw in glitter along with it as well. So I open up the lids to these. And doesn't that look wonderful? Now Walmart has a big, huge pack of it. I want to say it's $2.50 or maybe $2.98. And to me, from the package on the outside, it's like a clear bag. It's with the buffalo snow. This looks like the same thing. And this looks like shredded up plastic. But I love the look of it. And I got it to try it, and it was either 50 or 60% off at Michael's, so I figured what the heck. And the container's pretty cute. I may even go back and buy this stuff at Walmart at the end of the season, and as I run out of it in that little container, put it in there. Now I just sprinkle glitter all around. I'm going to put a little bit of tiny bit of glue on the trees. And sprinkle some glitter over those. Just so it kind of has something that sticks to it. I also sprinkle on some of that tinsel glitter on this. And I have the hardest time getting some of it to come out of these little shakers. So the one in the back, there's some big chunky glitter. I decided to open that bad boy up and throw the glitter in on it without that top on because it wouldn't come out. Well, I knocked it over. And let me tell you, this day, it wasn't the only thing that I knocked over. It was a day. So there you can see my trees is been trimmed now to fit in there. And that's just something to keep in mind if you've got reindeer antlers or hands that stick out on buttons, is making sure you get it down low enough that it will fit in there, or it may not fit at all. So they do have to be rather small. So I'm going to show you exactly how I put this thing back together. I messed up. That little white piece that goes in the middle should be in between those two pieces. So I have to go back and take this apart, but I want to show you how to do this. This goes within that area, and it just kind of lays there. And the other one, there's a piece there that goes up in the center of that, and you basically have to push it up a little as you feed in that piece that goes right in the center. And as soon as you get them kind of close together, you're going to push it in. And then you'll push in all 3 pins that go into the bottom, and then the pins that go into the top. And then we're going to add the wire back in there and secure it into place. And we'll decorate the outside, so I'm going to get some homespun. I did try to keep my colors to coordinate, you know, if there was red in the button, you know, try to pick some red homespun. I tried not to go too far out there, you know, by picking a green or a blue or anything. And I've got tons of like material that I've used for this, so. And if you've watched any of the other Christmas videos that I've done so far, I used the homespun to wrap cookie cutters. So I'm looking and trying to decide which snowflakes to use, and I just think that the white ones are actually going to look better with this. So I'll pull off a couple of the white ones, and I'm going to stick one to the side of there. I'll pull that sticking back off of it, and I'm even going to put one with that piece of homespun. And I'm kind of testing it around to see where I like them. And then I try to knock everything over as I'm doing all this, you can tell. And then once again, another one that I'm going to put on the homespun, because I thought that looked really good. They say you should do things in threes, because 3 are odd numbers actually are pleasing to the eye. I make cards, and that's kind of a golden standard. But for this, I didn't think 3 snowflakes would look all that great. I just couldn't feel like it was balanced out enough. I love this little Let It Snow since it's a snowman. I'm going to throw some hot glue there and hold that into place. And then I'm going to pick a little snowball to actually cover that hole and put it on there. So sometimes I use little tiny buttons that I have had for years, and I've used them several times over the years. But they fit nicely over those little holes. But this time I decided to use a little snowball. And here we are. We're going to cut another little green tree. And I'm just going to kind of set it down here in the bottom. I figure as long as there's part of the tree showing. And I'm kind of looking down in the bottom to make sure I have it setting in the right spot of the glue. And I decide that I've got to try to use this little fairy door. And so I did play around with this to make sure that when I put it in there, it wouldn't hit the outer edge of the lid. Because I did do that with the last one. And then had to take it apart a little in order to get it to fit. So this one I'm trying to decide, well, am I going to have to still do that? Because it's kind of hard to keep it in place and put the lid on it at the same time without actually gluing it down. So your best bet, if you're really not sure, is put a tiny little bead of glue, of that hot glue, and then let it set, and then try to put it over it. And then if it would fit, you can either add extra glue around the edge if you have one of these nice little detailed tips, or just take it off and add, a good amount of the hot glue. So I go all the way around this and add some stuff. That little butterfly ended up being in the way, so I had to take it off and position it just a little bit differently. And I'm showing you now that the butterfly ended up being in the way. If you put hot glue on those trees, it's really kind of hard to get stuff off, just like it is if it's stuck to that little side or middle piece. So I'm telling you this so you can learn from my mistake anyway. But I end up just angling it a little bit differently, and then it works just fine. And I'm trying to be real careful here as I pulled it apart and then added it back to it. And I checked at what angle I needed it to be and where the sign hit at, and then added the hot glue there so that it would hold. And you have a little bit of playtime with this to kind of add it back in there. And I'm sorry, I'm somewhat out of camera for that. But I just hold all these little pieces into place until that hot glue sets. And I'm thinking I really want to add one of those little mushrooms, but I want to make sure this works, and it did. I fell in love with fairy gardens over this past summer. I made several, and so when I saw these little doors, I was like beside myself. I was like, how cute is that? Now what's really funny is these little mushrooms actually have things on the back of them, the buttonhole, since they're really supposed to be buttons. And I went ahead and cut that off. But for this, it really wouldn't have mattered, and it may even gave me a little bit more stability if I would have went ahead and left it, because I'm going to just kind of angle this in that area as well. In the shadow, it's really kind of hard to tell, but I'm going to flip this up a little so that you can even see it when you look into the lantern. But I love that little mushroom. It is so cute. And then I'm going to add in the snow to this and build it up in the bottom so that it doesn't really look like my house is floating too much. Or my fairy house. I'm going to sprinkle in all kinds of stuff in here. And there's where I decided to take the lid off and add some of that glitter. I add in some of that snow. I add in the tinsel glitter. I add in the fine glitter because I'm like, man, if I would just invert it and up and down, then it will make that glitter kind of stick to the sides a little, as you can see. Which I think is really cool because I think it just gives it that snowy look that's in there. There's a look at it filled. And I'm going to pop this one back into place as well. So I wanted to show you again exactly how I did this. There's that little piece down there that you kind of have to seat it on. And then you almost have to push up the lantern part in order to get it in there. So you kind of push it up into that hole. And then click those two pieces together. The very first one I did like this, I kind of struggled because like I say, I was really worried about hurting those pins. But so far, so good. I haven't had one actually break on me. And of course, I knocked my little snow around, trying to get it in there. And I looked around for a little fairy to add to the bottom of this. I would have loved to have had like a little fairy. I had some little fairy stickers, but I didn't think they would do. They were like puppy stickers. And maybe added to the outside of on the base, possibly. But I'm going to be on the lookout for maybe some little fairy buttons or something to add to this maybe at some other point. But here's a look at it all done. I'm going to add that wire back to the top. Got fairies welcome. And then it wouldn't really stay together. So I added a little hot glue to the edge. I added some glossy accents, but it wouldn't set fast enough for me. So I ended up taking a pipe cleaner because it looks like tinsel, and I went all the way around that edge. And I glued it down, and I figured that this will actually help hold that into place. Since I put all that extra glitter in there, and it's not just the snow, I knew that it would fall out. So I just go along through here, and I don't glue it exactly all the way around, but I try to pick spots where I know that it'll keep it stable. And I tried to add as little glue as I possibly could. And I go around that entire ornament and add it to it. I really like this little Surebonder detail glue gun. And I know they have other detailed glue guns. I got this one off of Amazon. And I must admit, I'm all about some prime shipping. So I think this was $12.99 and I got it within just a couple of days. And I've had it for a while. You can tell it's very well loved. And I think that does help kind of hide the glue areas. And I thought that I had some tinsel ribbon, but then I was like, oh my God, I've got 10 million pipe cleaners because I've been making angels. So I thought that looked really good, and it's nice and thin. And there's my mess. I also knocked that over too. I don't know what's up with me today. Some days it happens like that. You ever have those days where you just get the dropsies? Or you just knock stuff over like crazy and you're like, really? I'd been up all night and I had been at work, and for whatever reason, I was more tired that night than I had been in a long time. So I kept telling myself, I just need to go to bed and film this later or do a voiceover later. I think the believe sign is appropriate because it's, do you believe in fairies? So I thought that was really cute to add to this. And like I say, the sky's the limit. You could even use a good paper and use it to make little signage, to go across these. Haven't done that yet. Dollar Tree did have it where you could buy these in quantities of 4. Of course, you got 2 white, 2 black. And I did order some, but I noticed when I went back online as of Black Friday, they have it again where you can only buy like a whole case, which is like 36 of them. And I seriously thought about buying some and like putting them in like a Etsy store, and maybe even just adding a bunch of different little embellishments, where if somebody didn't want to go and buy, $40 worth of stuff to make a few of these, because you're going to have leftovers. You're going to have leftover snow, you're going to have leftover buttons, you're going to have leftover tinsel, and making little kits to where you could just make them easy. But I'm not sure how popular that would be and how much stuff I would get stuck with. So I'm a little hesitant on doing things like that. And, you've got to ask people to pay for shipping on there because you just don't make any money. Shipping is so expensive. So that tinsel garland you could get at Walmart for $1.48. This other I'd had for a while, and I think I got it 50% off. They both have wire in them, so it kind of helps mold around anything. And I just love it. I love both of them. But the one from Walmart is a little bit stiffer. And it's not as soft. But it works very well, and it'll work well if you've got to, pack this stuff up. So I added one of those cute little flowers to the believe part. And since there was purple in the button itself, I added the purple flower. There were pink flowers also in it, but I decided to go with 2 whites and a purple at the bottom because I didn't really have any pink anywhere else. And I thought, well, just this time I wouldn't use the pink ones. I'll have to find something else to use those for. These are so pretty. And I wanted to make sure that would fit without going too low and messing up where it would sit. Which doesn't matter if you're going to hang it on the tree, but and of course I'm going to hold those into place, and I'm going to try to get all my spider webs off. And at the very end of this video, I'm going to go through and show pictures of all of them. I'll try to even link my Facebook page, Crafting It Up in Creations, on here as well, so you can actually see still pictures. And there I go, dropping it again, of all of them. Because once you add it to like the video, YouTube scans over the picture, and it doesn't just let you see the picture as a whole itself. And a lot of these I did hold up and go over with you what I put in them, but here at the end it's going to show them all. Now, if you've stuck with me this long, thank you so much. If you haven't already, click that subscribe button. If you wait when the little bell appears and hit it as well, that'll notify you each and every time I upload a new video. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. It does help my channel. It also helps YouTube know the content that you like. So if there's other people that are doing alteration on different things, you'll get, next time you log into YouTube, it'll suggest new and different and awesome crafters out there. And that is where I believe I come across SS Crafter 1. She had the altered Dollar Tree lanterns, and I was like, oh my god, I've done that too. Let me watch. I love watching other people's take on this stuff. I love watching what they do, using the materials that they have on hand, and just having fun with it. The crafting community is so wonderful in that way. Nobody ever really creates the exact same thing. And even if you try, sometimes it never quite comes out exactly the same. And I think that's what makes it so special. So I'm running through all the ones that I've done. And like I say, the thumbs up not only helps my channel, but it also helps get you out there where you will see other videos. This gal's been on there for a couple years. I can't believe I hadn't run into her channel before. I've liked it. I subscribed that day, and I've been going back and watching several other things that she's done. She's made beautiful tags. She is an awesome crafter, and I am very blessed to have bestowed upon her channel and to see how her mind works. And that's what I love about watching these videos, and it's one of the reasons that I love doing them, because I like showing people the process that I do. It's kind of the same thing at work. I love when we have the student nurses come in. I like showing them how I do it. Not that that's the right way, because there's always probably 3, 4, 5 different ways to do something. And if you watch one person and you watch another person, and maybe even you throw in a mix of what both of them have done, and you come up with the easiest, the best way for you to do it. And it's the same with crafting. So I love sharing this. I hope you guys enjoyed all this. I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I've got to step it up a notch because this 12 Days of Christmas series is going to have to wrap up soon, because I want you to be able to try to make some of these things before the holiday season gets here. So this is day 5. Days 1 through 4 will be linked below. Hope you all, again, had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Thanks so much for sticking with me to the end. You guys take care, and I hope you get time to craft it up.